So I've been wanting to cover this cyber attack for weeks now, but I've been waiting until there was an initial report so I could talk about it and actually give you some insight to what's been happening. And every single day I've been looking for an initial report so I can report it back to you guys, because I think it's a really interesting topic. And to this day, there's still no official initial report. And that's because the attack is still ongoing. Jaguar Land Rover, known as JLR, are a UK manufacturer of luxury vehicles, and recently they had an absolutely monumental cyber attack that pretty much took out most of their systems. Now, Cyfirm has actually gone through some initial information and collected various resources from interviews, and it's very obvious that this attack so far appears to be ransomware, and that explains why it's still ongoing. Basically, if JLR start production again, there's every chance that they could get attacked again. Because from what we understand so far, someone could still have access, whether it's a person or an organisation, to JLR systems. And basically someone could be prying on what's happening inside of their network at the moment. Well, if you don't want anyone prying on what you do online, make sure you check out Private Internet Access at the link down below. Private Internet Access is a VPN that allows you to stay as private as possible online. They don't keep any logs. And more to the point, with what's happening in the UK at the moment, it allows you to access content from anywhere in the world. For example, I prefer the American Netflix over the British Netflix, so I just change my location on Private Internet Access to America, and that's it. I log into Netflix and I get the American Netflix. So if you want 4 months free and 86% off, make sure you use my link down below. Now back to the video. Investigation report on Jaguar Land Rover cyber attack by Cyfirm. Cyfirm analysed the September 2nd, 2025 JLR cyber incident, which caused widespread disruption by shutting down global IT systems and halting manufacturing and retail operations, including at Halewood, while employees were sent home. The attack coincided with the UK's New Plate Day, intensifying financial losses as dealers could not register or deliver their vehicles. Now, this is something I really want to interject on. So in the UK, there's 2 lots of plate issuing every year. So for example, say if your car is a 2022 car, if your car was registered after March, it will have 22 in the plate, or if your car was registered after September, it will have 72 in the plate. And this is how the numerical system works on number plates in the UK if you're not from the UK. Now, New Plate Day is really important when it comes to registering vehicles. Basically, people will purchase and order a vehicle to be delivered after New Plate Day. So essentially, rather than buying a vehicle and then it being on the old number plate, they buy a new vehicle and it's on the new number plate, which isn't as trivial as you may think. It actually does help the value of the vehicles being on a later plate vehicle because it makes the vehicle newer. The fact that this cyber attack happened on New Plate Day, which is one of the 2 biggest days of the year for vehicle deliveries for Jaguar Land Rover, makes me think that this isn't some sort of kid in their bedroom incident. This is probably more likely a organised piece of crime, whether it be from a government or an external agency. Although some customer data breaches have been confirmed, the exposure of internal systems by Scattered Spider, Lapsus, Hunters Group, geez, that's a name, innit? On Telegram channel and prior Hellcat attacks highlight IT and operational risks. On September 16th, Jaguar announced that the forensic investigation of the cyber incident is still ongoing. As a result, the company has extended the suspension of production until Wednesday, September the 24th, 2025. And communicated the same update with its supplier partners. Now, as of today, they've actually extended this. They're now halting production until the 1st of October, and from what I understand from buzz that I'm hearing from various JLR groups and social media, they've been advised that this could go on for a further month after that as a worst case scenario. While JLR has not shared details on the scope or nature of the breach till now, the incident appears to align with a wider trend of advanced cyber attacks on the automotive sector. Notably, earlier this year, the Hellcat ransomware group targeted JLR in separate attacks, exfiltrating hundreds of internal documents and compromising employee data through stolen Jira credentials. Now, before we go into a bit more detail on this, I want to talk about some of the ramifications of this. So basically, in the UK, more particularly the West Midlands, which is a certain area of the UK, which is things like Birmingham and Coventry and all of these surrounding areas, a lot of people in those areas are employed into the automotive sector. And it used to be cases where there was hundreds of vehicle manufacturers in the UK, and World War II they converted to making tanks and planes, and basically the West Midlands is the centre of automotive in the UK and always has been. not so much anymore. But what is left of the automotive industry starts with Jaguar Land Rover, and then people that make the seats, make other parts of the vehicles, make wiring looms for the infotainment systems. All of these companies are all based in the West Midlands, and they all rely on Jaguar Land Rover. Now, since all of this has happened, just the 3 weeks of them being down as a business has massively affected their supply chain. There's people already being laid off in the supply chain because there is no work. And the knock-on effects of this has not just, affected Jaguar Land Rover, which is, a multi-billion-dollar company. It's affected hundreds of businesses. And this is why it sounds like just a car manufacturer getting hacked, but it's definitely more ramifications for this. And I do feel for the people that work for these companies. They just want to get paid and go to work, and it's a proper shame. Now, in this report by Cypherma, they've gone into some previous JLR attacks and what they consisted of, and you can definitely check that out at the link down below. I've linked this article if you want to read all the information. But a group has actually claimed responsibility for the hack. So a Telegram channel calling itself Scattered Lapsus Hunters has claimed responsibility for Jaguar Land Rover's cybersecurity incident, sharing a screenshot of Jaguar Land Rover's internal IT systems. The channel's name merges 3 English-speaking hacker collectives, Scattered Spider, Lapsus, by the way, really interesting hacks that they've done. I might do a whole video about them themselves. And Shiny Hunters. Shiny Hunters Collective has previously been linked to cyber attacks on UK retailers. Jaguar Land Rover, however, has not yet confirmed the specifics or nature of the attack. Now, I don't think this is just a random organisation claiming responsibility for this. Before this made public mainstream news, this group were actually publishing documents from JLR, so they definitely have access, whether they did the hack itself or whether they've acquired the information from it. They definitely have access to some of JLR's systems, which is going to make things very interesting for the police. And also, just a little caveat to this video, there's a number of fake groups out there, fake Telegram groups, pretending to be the official Scattered Lapsus Hunters account, and they're posting stuff from old leaks from a couple of years ago. So don't believe everything you see on Twitter or whatever about this. There are some official things that have been leaked, and there's also some things which are just false. So yeah, let me know down in the comments if you want me to keep covering this. I'm really interested to see how this plays out, mainly because the ramifications for the whole automotive sector in the entirety of the UK really does hang on what happens here. For a hack to take place and it to shut down a business for as long as they've been shut down, at the point of them planning to reopen, it would have been nearly an entire month of them being completely closed. I'm really interested to see how this transforms over the coming weeks and months. Obviously, this is very different to my usual content as well. I think this is a really interesting story. And so far, a motive hasn't really been revealed. So I guess we'll have to find out in due course what that motive might be. And let me know if you want me to keep following this, because I personally find it really interesting. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check out private internet access at the link down below. You'll get yourselves 4 months free and 86% off. And I shall see you all in the next one.